Hi, my name is McGann. For the final exam, the two methods I'll be recreating are knife skills and emulsion. To do so, I'm going to make a steamed vegetable dish with a hollandaise sauce. So the recipe calls for an assortment of vegetables of your choice. I chose pepper, potato, carrot, and mushroom. For the hollandaise sauce, the recipe was 6 egg yolks, 1/4 a cup of lemon juice, 2 sticks of butter, and then a pinch of red cayenne pepper and salt. Before I get into the two methods, I'm going to stress the importance of sanitation. The two biggest causes of foodborne illness are contaminated food and temperature abuse. So in regards to temperature abuse, that really only applies to the egg yolk. I mean, obviously you want to make sure you have fresh produce that's at the right temperature, but making sure that the eggs were not taken out of the refrigerator too long ago. And then also having a clean knife, cutting board, blender, and pot are huge. And then on top of that, I'm going to wash my hands to get rid of any contaminants or bacteria that might be on my hand, using soap and scrubbing pretty thoroughly. So once you're done with that, you can get going with the rest of the cooking. So the first method I'm going to kind of show a little bit about is knife skills. So doing so, I'm going to use the claw method. It's I think a good method to use, especially for a beginner like me. It's pretty much just cupping your fingers down like this and kind of making a flat ridge at the bottom, and then using your thumb as kind of the anchor, so you're kind of able to move freely. Also, kind of having a slanted stance for the shoulder to kind of have a more natural fluid motion. And then in terms of like the cutting, we learned in class, it's important to have a good solid grip like this, and then I'm using a knife I feel comfortable. It has serrated edges, which gives you a little bit more control. But in terms of the actual cutting process, it's kind of like a downward up motion using the claw motion. So the three main cuts I'll be pretty much doing is a bâtonnet for the pepper, and then I'm just going to be pretty much doing a thick dice for the potatoes, and then the other two I'm just going to be doing a thick, just regular cut. It's important for this dish to have thick cuts because I'm going to be steaming the vegetables, and if they're too small, they can soak up too much water, which will ruin the flavor and taste, and actually the quality of the mushrooms. It ruins the fibers within them. So for this potato, I'll just start and just kind of, this is just going to be a thick, kind of a thick dice. Really making sure using the claw formation to have good control. And so what you end up with kind of like just a thick dice like this. So I kind of already cut up a lot of them, but I'm going to put them in this bowl or this pot here, which I'll be steaming them. Next, the pepper here. I already used the wall method to kind of cut off the sides of the pepper because it has all the seeds within it. So this is the bâtonnet method, which is kind of like a French fry style. It's important to put the skin down in order to prevent from not dulling your knife. So once again with that claw formation, it just kind of make a French fry style like that, which I've already kind of done. And the last two is just mushrooms. Just kind of make sure you gotta have thick pieces like this, because once again, you don't want them to absorb too much water. And then also, before I cut them up, I don't want to wash them with water because they'll absorb too much water and it'll break down the fibers inside. So I just used a dry paper towel to clean those. And then last, the carrots. For these, I'm going to just dice up a little bit too, but I'm going to do a little different. I'll do it slanted. I think they look a little bit nicer if you use kind of a slanted cut. And then on top of that, I think it's just easier to do for me to kind of have a little bit more control on the size of it. So you get something like that. So I have them all here in the bowl. These will probably steam for around 5 minutes. I don't want to cook them too much. But the next method I have here is the hollandaise sauce, which is the emulsion process. Emulsion is just combining two liquids and while they keep their distinct state. So water and a fat, so an oil. Usually these have surface tension, meaning they don't want to touch each other, and like oil will actually sit on top of water and they won't blend together. So to get rid of that, you have to add an emulsifier. So in this recipe in the hollandaise, the emulsifier is within the egg yolk. It's called lectin. It's a protein fiber that has a hydrophobic and philic end. So one side attaches to water, one side attaches to oil, which combines the two and allows the two to mix up. And then So when we're combining these, I already have the egg yolk and the pepper and the salt within these. The egg yolk contains the lectin, the protein that has the emulsifier. It also has water, which is the water portion of it, the continuous phase part. The butter is going to be our fat, which is going to be combined during the shearing process, which is just simply mixing them up. And then salt and the cayenne pepper are really just flavor agents as well as preservatives. So to start off with the shearing process, which is just, it's really just separating the dispersed phase and being able to combine with the continuous phase. So this just happens simply from blending or stirring. I'm going to blend in this case. And then after that's blended, I'm going to add the butter. And it's important to add it slow because the heat from the butter can actually ruin the sauce. And if it overheats the lectin within the egg yolk, it will make sure that the two won't mix, which is something you really don't want. So I'm going to add it really slow. And as you see, it will start to thicken up, and you'll know when it's finished. It'll be a nice, thick, consistent sauce. So that's what I'm going to do now. So as you can see, the two have combined to make the hollandaise sauce. I actually already have the two, the final dish. Here's the final hollandaise sauce, and here's the vegetables. The vegetables are simply just going to add form and structure, and then I already went over all the ingredients within the hollandaise. So this is the final dish, and then you just add however much you want to the dish, and that's the end of it. So thanks.